Who is the other brother Maeve mentions? Conrad has previously referred to Harry as his son because of Harry's devotion to him, but Kevin's response to Maeve calling him his other brother suggests otherwise. He starts to cuss her out for even bringing it up, but they are cut off by a happy Eddie, which causes Maeve to raise an eyebrow at Kevin. Eddie, who is not actually Kevin's kid but rather Conrad's son with Bella, with whom we know Conrad had affairs prior to Kevin marrying her son, could be the other brother she mentions as another potential heir to the Heragan dynasty. What is Kevin planning for Rusby? In episode 8, Kevin's persistent efforts to obtain the address of Rusby, the former jail guard, make his objectives very obvious. He's reaching the point of desperation in his pursuit, willing to pose as someone who knows Rusby's wife, who has dementia, in order to find out what time he comes to visit her. Kevin was raped by the old jail guard while he was institutionalized as a teenager, and it doesn't appear like he is asking him to apologize. No matter how old he becomes, Kevin wants to murder the man who tortured him. Why Richie killed the two police detectives? Fisk readily agrees, primarily to avoid appearing weak, when a defiant Mikasa shouts out that Richie will never own them after rightfully questioning the two agents who owns what in their planned pooling of resources. They are shot and killed by Richie, who makes sure they hear the final words, no one owns Richie Stevenson. The true motive for their murder is deeper, even while their arrogant suggestion that Richie would be owned by the police, basically turning him into a grass, didn't assist their own cause in just a few minutes. Fisk and Mikasa demonstrated that they were straight and that they would not be suitable joint venture partners. Instead, they would be Richie's worst enemy, they would have control over his actions, and even if he were granted immunity from prosecution, Fisk and Mikasa probably wouldn't tolerate his killing people the way he plans to. Richie was aware of their inability to succeed, but Deputy Chief Inspector Tattersall, who was more seasoned and consequently more flexible, knew how to play ball. The most recent Guy Ritchie criminal thriller, Mobland, is an absolute blast. Deep in the heart of London, two rival families, the Stevensons and the Harrigans, engage in a death-defying struggle that has the potential to destroy lives and bring down empires. Harry de Souza, a streetwise fixer, who works for Conrad Harrigan, is caught in the crossfire. He is as deadly as he is attractive, and he is too aware of where allegiances lay when opposing forces clash. If you've been following this one over the weeks, you may be curious to find out when the next episode is releasing. Well, wonder no more. Here is everything you need to know about Mobland Episode 9, including its release date, time and where you can watch this. The Harrigans are already facing an unaffordable war, and Joanne Froggatt, is unwittingly adding to the cost. The entire family, with the exception of Brendan and Serafina, went to the Cotswolds home in last week's Mobland episode, The Crossroads, to prepare for whatever effect the Stevensons would have on them, including Harry de Souza's, Tom Hardy, grudging brood. However, Jan chose to take a break and meet her new acquaintance at a nearby pub after receiving a call from an emotional Alice, Emily Barber. After answering a barrage of intrusive questions from Alice, she was driven home by Paul, Emmett J. Scanlon. That it now appears that Alice will have to meet him as well as Jan, who will likely have to make a huge show of explaining why she left the property. Conrad, Pierce Brosnan, the father of the crime family, confronts Jan directly about her choice to leave the rural property in order to meet up with her friend in this exclusive preview of Sunday's new episode of Helter Skelter. I would like you to pay me a brief visit. We can get to know one another over supper. What does that sound like? He addresses her. That sounds very beautiful. When did you think? She responds. After that, he says, tomorrow. Alice's excited colleagues will undoubtedly anticipate her to try to get Conrad to answer questions if and when she agrees to this meeting. He won't be as evasive as Jan, though, and Alice may be in double the danger if Maeve, Helen Mirren, is present. What occurs when a Harrigan thinks someone of betraying them has been observed previously?